Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'll be showing you how to paint a blue jay. This will be our last in our Songbird series that we've been doing on the mini canvases on Tuesday nights. I'm really excited to finish up this series. It's been really fun. It's a impressionist type painting, so it'll be pretty easy, I think. Trying to keep it beginner level-ish, so never can tell quite how hard it's going to be, but I've been seeing a bunch of them that have been painted, and they've been looking amazing. So I've got my husband Mark with me tonight.
Hey there, everybody.
He's man in chat for our live show, so if you've got questions, you can ask those, and I'll be showing you step by step how to do this all the way from drawing to finish. So let's get started. Alrighty, so these are the ones that we've done already, and we're going to be adding this guy here to this corner. So I'm really excited about adding our last blue jay. We voted between the cardinal and the blue jay, and the blue jay seemed to be the more popular choice. So, but if you do want to do a cardinal, I've got an iCard for an older video where I did a very simple cardinal that you could substitute for this if you wanted to. So. We're using the Fredrix Gallery Wrap 5" by 5" little mini canvases here, but you could really use these on any size canvas you wanted to. So if you wanted to make them on a larger canvas, that would totally work too. And you could even put them all on one canvas if you wanted to. So I'm going to set these aside for now. We'll be pulling them back out when we do some of our painting here. In fact, I think I'm going to leave this one and this one, since these are our two main canvases that are going to be on either side of it, just so that we can match these colors up as we go. So let's go over our colors real quick. I've got Unbleached Titanium, Titanium White, Quinacridone Magenta, Yellow Oxide, Cadmium Yellow Medium, Phthalo Green Yellow Shade, Teal, Phthalo Blue Green Shade. This is light Phthalo Blue, that's just Phthalo Blue plus white, it's pre-mixed. Ultramarine Blue, and Burnt Umber, Burnt Sienna, and Carbon Black. Teal is also a pre-mixed color that you can get from Phthalo Green and Phthalo Blue in equal parts with white. So if you don't have these exact colors, just use what you've got that's similar. It should be just fine. So I'm going to show you real quick how I drew this guy. He was a little boxier than some of our other birds. Probably the closest one might have been this guy, but he's even kind of got a rounder belly. These blue jays have a really kind of square shape almost. So instead of doing like the traditional teardrop shape that I would do in another bird, I did kind of more of a box shape. So kind of started out here, figure out how much room you want, you know, to fit him in. Leave a little room to do a circle at the top here for the head. Okay, that's good. Yeah, good idea. I'll move it up here. Circle for the top of the head, and then the tail part and the body part are about equal spaced. So if you kind of leave a little room for the head up here, and then kind of, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, about 2 heads per section. So 1, 2, if you split this into 5 parts, then you should be able to kind of measure it out on your canvas if you want to draw it yourself. So, but this part of the coming down from the curve of the front of the head, it kind of curves out this way and then does a kind of a sharp turn in. I hope I'm not going to regret using this dark pencil here. The white wasn't showing up very good, so I changed to the dark, but it's probably going to change your color a little bit. There's a wing coming down right here a little bit that kind of cuts from this part down past the tail. The tail is almost in direct line from the head, so that's a good place to kind of measure it by. And then this back side of the head comes down. There's this back side of the circle that we did. You make it a little bit wider and just taper it out into the back, and then bring that wing around here. And this is the other wing, kind of across from this one at a diagonal. And then this part cuts up into the body, overlaps, and then this one does like this. So there's a little V shape right here where they kind of overlap, and there's a couple little feathers that curve like that. Then the beak is going to be set into the head a little bit, so do a V shape like that. And he is looking at us, so we're seeing this one eye right here, and it is usually, well, let's do this back part. So the back part of it is curving this way, and then this is like a diamond there. So you end up with a diamond. It's a little bit shorter on this side, and there's a split down the middle. Then the eye is going to go, there's a little space right here where there's some black feathers that come around like this. And then the eye is setting right back. If you split the beak in half, the eye is going to be right above that split, right in line with it. And then this part, this coloring kind of curves around like this and angles down over the breast. And then the back of the head has this crest that kind of curves up this way and over, and you know, it can be taller if you have more room at the top of your canvas. Sometimes, you know, they've got their feathers on alert. This will be almost straight up, like right here. So, and I think that's about it. The leg is going to be coming off at an angle from where you're kind of turning it in right here into the body, and at that corner almost. Going to angle down, and then there's going to be another one that kind of angles right from where the wing kind of splits off from the body right here, and then that way we can tell where we need to put our branch. So leave a little room for his little feet to go, and just draw your little branch in there. And I made it a little bit bigger than my reference image. I kind of pasted my reference image together. He was on a bunch of random twigs, so I photoshopped in some prettier flowering branches. It's got to have some flowers for him to sit. All right. Of course we do. So if you go looking for this picture, you're not going to find it.
Again, it's I wonder what that would look like with flowers on it.
Right. Yeah. Well, of course. That's my motto, right?
Put a flower on it.
We're doing for Cynthia, so these will be yellow blossoms here. So they have four blossoms. Put a flower on it. I like that. I just got that. It's cute. Cute.
But not that kind of cute.
No. Isn't funny? Haha, cute. All right, and then we'll do another one up here with some like that. So not too much detail in those flowers. They'll be pretty easy, I think. Just 4 kind of simple petals. All right, so let's start with I'm only going to be using a couple brushes here because I haven't really been using all the brushes when I've been doing the other ones. I've been able to get everything done with about these 3 brushes. So we're going to do the number 4 Filbert, then the 1/4 inch angle, and a number 1 round. These are all the Princeton brushes. This is 6100 series. This is the VelvetTouch, and this is the Select line. So this is the cheapest, medium expensive, and then the most expensive. But if you want to have links to any of the materials that I'm using, they're down in the description. I have an Amazon store with the canvases and paints, and then the Brush Guys website for the brushes, where I've got a recommended list of my favorite brushes that I use in a lot of my videos. If you're interested in that, and you can use a code Angela Fine Art to get 5% off. So that's nice.
That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. Yep. So thank you to Princeton and Fredrix, our 2 sponsors for. They provide us with the materials for our lessons. We don't get paid by them, but I was already using their products, so it was kind of a win-win for everybody involved.
Yes.
So,
yeah. And they've helped out with a couple giveaways too.
They did, yeah. We just finished a giveaway with Fredrix, so we announced that last Tuesday, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm starting out with, whoops, sorry, that was kind of loud. Teal, a little bit of Phthalo blue, and some light Phthalo blue. I was just trying to find a color that was similar to this, so I think that's pretty close. So I'm just going to start out by kind of laying some of that down with this Filbert. I can't think of the name. And I'm just going one direction and then turning it and going the other direction, dabbing back and forth. And so I can get kind of some random splotchy brush strokes and grab some of the lighter color and dip some of that in there. While that paint's wet, it'll kind of blend a little bit, give you some softer looking color. And this bird's blue, so I'm gonna really try to transition pretty quickly into another color. And I think I want to do some kind of reddish stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my Quinacridone Magenta there. It's gonna turn it purple, but that's okay. We'll deal with the purple first, and then we'll get some little pops of red in there too, hopefully. Or maybe not red, but pink. Actually, I probably need to put some red out.
Okay, so there was a question. I missed it.
All right.
People covered for me in chat, so I appreciate that. But the question was, what is a gallery wrapped canvas?
Gallery wrap just means that the sides don't have staples. So it's wrapped so that you can hang it on a wall without having to frame it. So you can, it's got the staples or splining on the back. So
there's ones that have the canvas wraps around, but there's staples on the sides that are visible.
Right.
Okay.
And those are not gallery wrapped.
Okay.
Those are just regular wrapped. I don't know.
Bacon wrapped? That would be better.
I can tell you're hungry.
We'd have a lot more people painting if they were bacon wrapped. just throwing it out there. Yeah, maybe maybe you can paint the edges looking like bacon.
I don't know, but
no. Okay.
Thanks for the idea. I'm
All right,
always looking for new ideas. So
I know.
Appreciate it.
One of these days, one of my ideas might make it on TV.
All right, so I've got Quinacridone Magenta. It's basically our background color, but I've added just a little bit of white to it to make it a little bit different. And really, we're just kind of tapping it in here to get them to blend a little bit. I'm going to grab some of that blue and bring it down this way. And I'm kind of going around these blossoms. I'm not filling them all the way in. I want to leave a little bit of space for the color and maybe a little bit of that red to peek through. So, and then let's use what's on our brush here. I'm going to spray my paints a little bit more frequently so that they don't dry out. And looks like our thunderstorms just passed. We had some thunderstorms that were just before the show started. It was raining pretty heavily. And I was hoping a lot of lightning, thunder. So I was hoping we wouldn't lose power, but it looks like it looks like it passed. It feels.
And I haven't done my job.
Anymore.
A couple of months ago, I was going to buy a couple emergency power supplies, so in case the power did go out, we could go on, and I haven't done that yet.
I haven't done it yet. That's all right.
So that'll be on my list.
Yeah.
Hey, we do have a question.
Okay.
Somebody got excited about doing the bird series, and so they've gone out and they purchased all the materials.
Right.
And they were wondering how or to use the golden glazing liquid that you have listed down.
Okay. I haven't used it much in this one, but what you could do is add it to your paints, and what it does is it extends your drying time. It'll also allow for glazing. We haven't done a whole lot of glazing on this series, but if we add it to our paints, when we paint in our colors here, and I've mixed a little bit of white or a little bit of phthalo green and the light phthalo blue here to make this green. That's this minty color right here. What it does is it leaves it a little bit longer drying time, so I can go ahead and pick up another color and put it in here, and it won't dry quite as quickly as this side did. So it's actually probably good. We probably ought to be using it anyways. I'm going to grab some of that blue, dab some of that in. So I'm really kind of just visually, I'm not I'm not smooth blending. I'm kind of just overlapping the colors a little bit to blend them. So they're not totally fully blended like we might normally, do to get a smooth transition from one color to another. We're just sort of overlapping with little dots of color so that we have a little bit of colors overlapping one another and your eye perceives it as being blended. Kind of like pointillism. That was sort of how they did it, only it's not quite that dramatic. These are bigger dots.
Well, as long as my eyes can breathe, I don't mind them being tricked.
Okay.
I'm okay with it.
You're okay with it? All right. Well, I'm glad to know that, hon. I'm going to add a little bit of the lighter blue there. Here and there. That's the light phthalo blue there. And then got some of this darker blue down here. Let's get some of the ultramarine with the phthalo blue to get that kind of more royal blue. It's kind of a little bit of a purpley shade almost. Let's add a little bit of white to it. Soften that up. That's close to it. And you know what I used to do? If you're doing a painting like this and you're, this is our 6th painting. We did this one like the 3rd. So it's been like, or no, this was the 2nd one. So it's been like 4 weeks since 5 weeks since we've, 4 weeks since we've done this one. So what you can do is write down your colors. Sometimes I would, I don't do it anymore, but I probably should. But I would write down in a notebook when I did my sketches. So whenever I did my sketches, and I still do it sometimes when I sketch, so that I know kind of what colors I'm seeing. But I would, after I painted it or as I was painting it, if I used a certain color, I would make a mark on my drawing and I would just put a little arrow or something like that so that I knew sort of which colors mixes went where. That can be helpful in something like this where you're kind of, doing a lot of different colors. It can be easy to forget what you did, especially after 5 weeks.
If we were just recording this so we could go back and look.
Just saying it for themselves,
Okay.
I'm just saying if they're not comfortable with, color mixing and they were doing a project like this where they knew they were going to have to come back and paint another part of it later, it can be helpful to write it down.
They don't have to get a 1080p camera and arm and set it all up and record what they're doing and talk to themselves.
Right.
Doing
No,
that.
I wouldn't recommend talking to yourself.
Okay.
Don't talk to yourself while you paint. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to talk and paint. Try it sometime.
Hey, amen. I tried it once.
It really is hard.
It was it was extremely difficult. You make it look very, very easy for sure.
Well, you can tell when I'm flustered. It makes it's harder for me to come up with sound my letters out. Sound my words out. Or when I'm really thinking, about what I'm painting, then I have a harder time talking. So. All right, so I'm adding a little bit of green in, kind of pulling that green down at a diagonal there a little bit. Kind of pretty underneath there. Leave a space for the legs. So you can see how it's turning that kind of dark where the colors coming off these water-soluble pencils. This was the Graphite Aquarella 4B, so it reacts with the paint and it'll kind of darken it. It's not a big deal. We'll just cover it back up, but just know that it might do that. So if you're doing it on a white background, you might use a softer colored watercolor pencil instead of the dark one, because if you go to try to erase it, it can be difficult. You can, sometimes you can see it on the white if you're wanting your background to stay clean, is what I'm saying. All right, I am just Continuing to add, and I keep adding blue, but I really don't want blue over here. I don't know why. Keep doing that. I want to get more green, so let's do some of this brighter green. Let's grab a little bit of white, but not as much as before. And I'm going to put in a bunch of green over here. Over the top, and I might even put a couple over here. Just so I get that transition between the two colors there. So I want this to be mostly green and maybe a little bit of pink on this side, purple around our bird. Since he's going to be all blue, I don't want a bunch of blue around him. It's just going to disappear into the canvas.
So now that this is the last bird,
yes,
what we gonna do next week?
We're gonna do seashells. I had a vote on in my Thankful Art group, and they voted for seashells. So we're gonna do real colorful seashells. They should be really pretty. So that'll be fun.
You've heard about Sally, right?
Yes, I have heard about Sally. I'm not even gonna go there.
Sally sells seashell paintings by the seashore.
I guess so.
Or Sally watches seashell paintings on YouTube.
Hopefully.
And subscribes to the channel.
Oh yeah, hopefully.
And check it out.
If you didn't know this already, if there's a little bell icon right next to the subscribe button, and if you click that, it will YouTube will send you notifications of new videos. So, you know, if you're like, I'll, you know, watch one and then I forget, or, you know, whatever, it'll let you know what I'm painting and send you a little notification in an email so that you can kind of see what we're up to and check it out. Because sometimes YouTube does their subscriptions differently now. So I'm adding a little teal here. They don't use your, like, who you subscribe to as much as they used to in your feed. So if you go to your, you know, home feed, if you haven't watched a particular person within the last month or so, depending on how often you're on YouTube, you may not see them again. You know, honestly, that's how the system works. It really only pays attention to who you've just been watching. So if you've got somebody that you really like and you're like, you know, I haven't seen anything from them for a while, that's probably why. Because if you haven't watched recently, they kind of drop off the face of the earth in the YouTube algorithm. So if you've got a favorite, I would say check that little bell and get the notifications.
It should be shaped like a cowbell. It'd be much better.
It is kind of.
Yeah,
it is. It's kind of like a cowbell. All right, I'm mixing the light phthalo blue with that Quinacridone Magenta, and I'm going to just dab over. I don't want to blend the purple with the green because they're too opposite on the color wheel. What'll happen is they'll kind of turn a muddy brown color. So I'm going over the dried paint, or I'm not really like pressing it down into that paint because I don't want it to blend too much with that green. We can end up with a weird color. Okay, so let's just add some little dots of lighter pink. What this will do is kind of pull some of these colors that we've used in other places that we're not planning on using in this painting into this. It'll kind of unify the whole series. So I'm just trying to think of colors that I've used other places. I want to make sure that I use them again. In fact, I think I want to use a little bit of this pink up in this one because I never did use any pink over here on this guy. So I might just kind of throw in a couple dabs of pink just in a couple places. so that they don't, it doesn't look like it's kind of all by itself. And let's throw a little bit of it on here too. If this is stressing you out, you don't have to do it. I know some people are like, I already finished that. I don't want to mess with it. You know, I totally get that. So,
yes,
you don't.
Somebody had commented that while you were painting and doing stuff that you're not splattering and getting paint on the other canvases right next to you. They commended you for that.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I'm not.
Pro
I haven't been
skills.
splattering with this one. So we haven't. We should be. We should splatter them all at the end here, maybe, if I remind me. I might do like a final splatter and then just get them all in one go. Okay, so there we go. So we've got a little bit of that rosy pink. Let's set these other ones out, and you can see why I added that. Just a little bit of glow pulls that pink in up here and around over here. Kind of leads your eye back around. We've got some of that reddish color up in here, so we'll use a little bit of red. Maybe around his the flowers or on the branch over here to kind of pull some of that color in over here. But we've got that kind of pink color. I think it's going to work pretty good. So I might put a little bit of this purple up in here. This guy. There we go. Just
All right,
kind of
we're
tie
done.
that whole thing in.
Good job. No, we're not done.
No, not done yet.
Oh,
You thought we were done? Oops, I need to
Alright.
finish this side. I didn't do that side either. Oops. Okay.
we'll edit this part out.
We'll get that on there quick. Not a big deal. Okay, and then this side, it's got some of this pink and, or green and light phthalo blue, some blue. There we go. Haven't had anybody ask about why we did the background color this, or have we already had questions in chat about that?
Nope, but you might as well answer it now.
I know, 'cause I get questions every time. We're doing the Quinacridone Magenta underneath, just as a way to kind of add a little bit of, this is white here, so I'm just adding some little bright pops of white. Just to add a little glow underneath our other colors. It's not gonna, there's not really no other reason but that. It's just kind of adding a little bit of glow. Not much of it is gonna actually show, but just enough of it will to give it a little bit more vibrancy. That's the word I was looking for. Makes the colors a little bit more energetic, almost. So, and for this, with the birds, I just kind of wanted something a little bit more fun and brighter. You know, got all these bright, fun colors that we're working with, so.
I will say it does look pretty cool for sure.
Yeah. You only barely see it, you know. There's it's just kind of barely peeking out around the sides, but it does make a big difference. All right, so let's start on our bluebird here. I'm going to start with the phthalo blue. He's going to be mostly phthalo blue and ultramarine, kind of in equal parts, almost like the bluebird. Maybe a little bit more ultramarine side. He's got a little bit more of that purpley blue to him than the bluebird did. These two blues together make a really pretty royal blue. I'm adding a little bit of white there to the mixture. And I'm just going to use this angle brush here. Start at the top and sort of dab in. Crest using the edge of that brush to create these little lines that kind of come off the edge here. the top of the crown. And then I kind of dip in a little bit here. And the back. You can see why we wanted to stay away from the blue on the background, because it's already kind of disappearing up in here. So we'll probably have to add a little bit of brighter color up there. So we'll add a little bit of the brighter phthalo blue up there. See if that does enough. That made it worse. I'm gonna have to let's do it on this side. Do it on this side.
I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, so.
Okay. So just be ready to go off camera, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because if I zoom in right now, you'll be pretty much off
okay.
camera.
I'll move it up.
Okay. Yeah, people wanted a good zoom.
Okay, thanks.
I like them. They know a good zoom when they see it.
Right. Okay, so we got there. And for this part of the body, I'm just going to do some dabs in the direction that the feathers are going. So these ones are kind of coming down this way. And a little bit above halfway mark on the wings on the back here, there's this kind of split where there's a little white stripe. So we want to just kind of stop right about there. We'll keep on going here in a minute, but there's some lighter blue back here in the back of the head right there. A little bit in the middle of the forehead. I'm just going to put some lighter blue kind of in there now that I've got that darker down. Just a few of the lighter blue streaks in this direction. Let's grab some Ultramarine Blue and go right up along that wing. Put some nice dark color down between the wings. And this wing here is going to be that dark ultramarine. It's going to have other colors on top, but I'm just going to go ahead and kind of put this in first. We'll put in some of the other details in a minute. I do these in two sections. And this part is going to have a little bit lighter color, so I'm going to grab a little bit of that light phthalo blue and just do a longer choppy brush strokes right there. And then we're going to have some phthalo blue or ultramarine blue, darker blue right here. Little triangle. Leaving a little bit of room for that white to go. Let's go ahead and grab that white. We'll start putting those white parts in. That way we can kind of work around them with the other colors. There. Whoops, I'm kind of off very low. Sorry.
Quick question.
Okay.
If a person is just starting this series, would you recommend that they do all of the backgrounds at one time to get that?
I think that'd be easier. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the only reason we split it up this way is just because we weren't doing them all on the same night. But if I was doing these in the studio, I would definitely be doing them all together in stages. I'd probably do all the backgrounds, and then I'd probably do all the branches and flowers, and then I'd probably do, each one of the birds separately.
Kind of trace them out first and then paint in the backgrounds around them and all that stuff.
Yeah. Oops, a little bit of that.
Okay, so we'll need
on the tail.
We'll need to splice together a video.
That's what I was thinking. It would probably be helpful to have.
And then all the tracing. And
You're
then
right. I really did. I thought you could do a time lapse version, you know, where you showed all of them being done and then all the birds. Okay, so for the tail, it's more of a turquoise, so I'm going to grab some teal and the phthalo blue. I have these other colors still in my brush, so it's not like a clean mixture, but it's going to have a little bit more of a turquoisey feel. We'll put that in. We'll go right up to there. There's your dog. Thank you, Scooter. That is lovely. Appreciate it. She's hacking up a hair. You'd think he has hairballs the way he hacks. He's actually got a heart condition, so he scared us a couple weeks ago. He passed out. But he's doing better now. He's on medication. The dog has more medicines.
Yeah, we almost have one of those pill things for him.
We do. We do. He gets 6 pills a day plus 2 insulin shots. He's a mess. Makes going on vacation difficult. All right. Kind of mixed up some of the teal and some white here and a little bit of that basically the phthalo blue and teal, and then I've mixed some white because it just needed to be a little bit lighter. And I'm gonna do some stripies on the tail, kind of across. This is very, very simplified, so don't get too caught up in each individual detail. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just trying to get it kind of similar colors, similar feeling, similar placement of the colors, you know. But we're letting our brush strokes be kind of messy. I'm going to grab some of that Ultramarine Blue now. Mix that in, and I'm going to just put some dabs in between this background color and the color that I just put on. So just to blend them a little bit, because they kind of are all kind of sitting out by themselves now. So I'm just trying to kind of visually tie them together, kind of like we did with the background, you know, where we overlap them just slightly with colors. And I want some really dark ultramarine. It's probably not going to be super dark because it's mixing with what's on my brush, but I'm going to get some down here. And the bottom of my tail has got some of that. I don't know why I put white right there because there's no white on the tip of the tail over there. No idea why I did that. I'm just going to dab in right here, get a little bit of that lighter color. Dab in some small brush strokes right there. And then bigger ones in here. Okay, this one's a little bit more complicated. He's definitely got a more complicated back pattern on the back of his feathers there. So let's switch to a smaller brush. And I'm going to grab some Ultramarine Blue and some black. Start putting in some of our black details. The blue will just kind of tone it down just a little bit, give it a little bit of blue tint. And we'll add some of this around the face, just dabbing my brush. So I'm getting an uneven line there. Around there, there's some above the beak right here and here. Comes down around. I'm going to grab some white. Get that in a little bit more. There we go. And there's a little bit of white in front of the beak there, so I'm just going to dab in a little bit of gray. Do gray underneath the chin. All down here. And it's got that blue in it too, so it's kind of changed it to a little bit of blue-gray color, which will be good for that shadow under the chin, under the beak. And I'm going to get that black again now. Put that bottom part of the beak in. Bottom half is darker than the top. I'm going to outline it just a little bit. And then I'm going to mix these two together, so I'm going to get a color that's in between this color and this black. Still pretty dark, but just a little bit lighter. I'm going to fill that top part in with that. And if it doesn't show up against your background, you can grab just a little bit of black and just sort of slightly outline it so that it shows up better. Like that. Okay. So he looks good. Let's grab some straight black. I'm going to outline the eye. Or I should say fill it in. I'm going to put a little bit more of that dark black right under there.
Looks like he has a beard right now.
He does.
Kind of
He looks like Santa.
You know, or like one of the Duck Commander guys.
I like it. It's good. Okay, so I'm going to grab some blue here because he's got quite a bit of blue in this, especially around the eye here. I'm going to do kind of a light blue around the eye. Even though your eye kind of will tell you it's white, but a lot of times white are not straight white. You know, when you're painting, if you look really carefully or zoom in, you'll see that what your eye is perceiving as white is actually a lot of the other colors that are around it that it's picking up, but it's just a much lighter version of them, so that it's kind of perceived as white. So I'm going to overlap a little bit with the kind of dirty white, as we should say. Use that. I need a hair clippy. My hair is sticking in my eyes. I can't find one.
Uh-oh, emergency.
An emergency hair clippy.
I found some emergency Kit Kats.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think that's going to help. Let me see. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Hair clippy. See?
There's a chip clip over here.
No, I got one.
Okay.
I used them for my earbuds. Boom. Hair's up out of my eyes. Now I can actually see. Wow. My bangs are getting long. It's time for a haircut. Sorry, you guys didn't need to know that, but it was either tell you what was happening or have some dead silence while I searched for it. So Mark was obviously not helping. He was talking about something.
I saw candy. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
I found your stash.
You need a hair clipping? I've got candy. Did that help you?
Candy.
No.
There's
Actually didn't, but
a
thank
chip
you.
bag clip. It looks like a clippy thing.
Oh, okay. All right, so I'm mixing some of the more of a earthy white here with the light ultramarine. Or not, I'm sorry, what is that color? Unbleached titanium, thank you. You're welcome, self. You did it. Mark loves it when I thank myself for remembering words.
I thought it was like a challenge for those of us watching. It's like, oh man, I don't know.
No, it was a challenge for myself to try to come up with that word, whatever it was.
It's like that.
Trying to come up with.
It's like that beat that Shazam show. I can't beat Angela. Can't name that.
Light blue.
Name that paint. Cad blue.
Close. I was just talking to somebody about that, about how we had our own paint system of colors, making up our own colors.
Yeah, we came up with another one recently.
Salmony,
that's right. Dirty white, cad blue, salmony.
Yep. Okay, I've got some darker blue. There is another one. I can't remember what it is now.
I'll flip through my notes here, see what I can
see if
come
you
up
wrote
with.
it down.
So watch yourself on
Hopefully
camera there.
one of us is paying attention. Okay, not that it's that important. It's never going to happen, but it's funny to us.
Okay, I've got ungray.
Did I actually say that?
Unburnt blue.
Unburnt. Yeah, I remember that one.
And purpley one.
Purpley one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We got to talk with Golden, see if we can
come up with.
Get this whole line up.
They should be in there, I think.
Okay, so since you've explained the background, we've had 2 questions about it.
Okay.
You were a little early on your explanation.
Sorry. Okay. Going with the lighter blue here. Just through there. That's funny. So I explained it too early.
Yep.
Okay.
So if I got
they're
this
just
right,
going to have to go back and watch it.
I've listened to it 6 times and I'm still not sure, but it has something to do with making it look really awesome. And the brilliance, genius of her artistic mind.
Right.
Which is a deep, dark place you don't want to go to. Came up with hot pink. Either that or her stomach was upset and was thinking of Pepto.
Yeah, could be. Could be. All the Pepto's a little bit softer.
A little pinker.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to get black. I'm mixing some more of this black and blue together here. I'm going to start putting in some of our stripy details on our tail feathers. So they kind of go at an angle here.
So somebody said that our paints will never be real because they're too easy to pronounce.
That's true. That's true.
So we'll go with benzimidazolone purpley one.
Yeah, we should have thought about that. They don't sound very artsy enough. Artsy fartsy.
True.
We need to step up our game. Good point. Whoever made that observation. Very smart.
That was from Michelle.
Good thinking, Michelle.
Yes.
Okay, you can notice that I'm not really laying my brush down for very long. I'm doing a lot of movement, dabbing, a lot of wiggling. It's not going right above my whites with this dark color here. And then I want to do stripes on my feathers. I'm not really worried too much about individual feathers, although you can if you want to separate these out a little bit better. I think that that's closer to the style of the other birds, so I'm just trying to kind of keep with the same style since these are all kind of meant to be together. Don't want to make one of these super detailed and then the rest of them all kind of real soft and impressionistic. So, okay, let's do some dark right along there where the wings overlap. Okay. I'm not 100% happy with it yet, but we'll get there. Okay, let's use this dark color for the legs. Their legs are pretty dark. Oh, too much water.
So we'll name this one Blue Steel.
Blue Steel.
Because it looks like he's got that pose. He's like looking over his shoulder.
Does,
Blue Steel.
I like that. Goes with the theme too, you know. Got some light gray here. Put a highlight on the top of the beak. Maybe a little bit lighter. And then I'm going to do a highlight on the inside of the eye. Kind of lighter. Kind of a gray color. If you get too much, like I just did, I'm going to go around the outside and just kind of clean up that outside of the eye a little bit, make it a little bit smoother. There we go. And then I'm going to grab just a little bit of the bright, bright white and do a little highlight with just a little dab of the bright white there. All right. Then I need Phthalo blue and light phthalo blue here. I'm going to put these feathers, they go down farther right here on this wing. They go right up to the leg. And I'm going to grab some more white and just kind of emphasize. Sometimes when you first put down your white, it's over the top of a color. It may not come out very dark, so I'm going to go back over one more time with the white and brighten it up a little bit. It's not pure white though, it's got a little bit of that blue in it. I haven't cleaned out my brush, so a little bit of blue. Okay, let's use a little bit of this bright white around the face here, just above the eye. Leaving this area kind of dark with the blue, Just bringing a little bit more of that brighter white around the eye. I think I got some on the top of the eyeball there. Let's get some of that black. Put that back in. He looks like he's winking at us.
The birds are making a lot of noise outside.
They really are, yeah.
Yeah.
They're happy that the weather's turned and it's not raining anymore.
We actually got a real blue jay sound on the video just a minute or two ago.
Did you really?
Yep.
That's great. Okay, this is Ultramarine Blue, just darkening up some parts of this. So we could either have gone lighter with the background, which is what we did kind of up here, or we could go really dark with the bird, but you have to have enough contrast. So I'm just going in with this darker color, just along the outside edge. It doesn't have to be in the middle. We want to keep it pretty light, but just on that outside edge, we kind of need it to be a little bit more visible against that background. So I think that's a little bit better. Still not 100% happy with this wing here, but I think it's a little more angled. Got some black there. Separate them out. Let's do some more black under here. It's not dark enough. Yep. A little bit right here. And then I'm just going to clean this up and make sure that I've got good dark feathers around the face there. Was I going off?
No, I was going to zoom in because you were working on the back feathers, and so I started zooming in, and then your sixth sense
around.
Kicked in, and like, oh no, you don't. I'm going up here.
I always do that, don't I? Some lighter colors around that back there. Okay, this needs to be curved in a little bit more.
Okay, got it.
And then now we need to put in some browns. I'm not happy with these wings at all. But let me go in with the teal color and kind of go in between.
Got a color question.
Okay, this is phthalo blue with, it's kind of in between the phthalo blue and light phthalo blue. Go for it.
They would like to know if ultramarine blue is mixable.
You could use phthalo blue and purple. If you have doxazine purple, you can get something similar with those two colors. So, but if you don't have a bright purple, you probably won't be able to get it, this blue, close enough, because it's pretty vibrant. So I'm just kind of softening back up some of that black, kind of going over the top of it just a little bit to soften up the transition between the colors. And then I'm going to mix a little bit of the ultramarine blue with this. Dab a little bit of the lighter kind of ultramarine in a couple places. I hear you, Scooter. Scooter is done painting tonight. He wants his dinner. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. He's sneezing, making all kinds of noises. Don't. Okay, there we go. Starting to get a little bit better. It's still pretty messy looking, but that's okay. Just go back in with just a little bit of that black. Just touch up in a couple spots, and that should be good enough. There we go. Really, these are angled wrong. They kind of go more like this. There we go. A little bit of the light phthalo blue right here. Then this bottom part has got more of the earthy tone, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the burnt umber. Mix it with the blue and white and the light ultramarine, or the unbleached titanium over here. So I still had some of those blues in my brush, and I picked up a little bit of brown and some of the unbleached titanium. It'll give us this kind of good gray color for the bottom of his body here, where the feathers are dark. Still white, but they're very grayed from being in shadow under there. Let's use some of that under the chin right here. And I'm going to grab some white. And I just kind of brushed my brush off. I didn't clean it. So it's going to tone that paint a little bit. And I'm just going to dab on some white over the top of this gray. This goes down his leg there a little bit, and then this kind of comes under the body right there. Let's grab some of that gray. Put some of that in right here. If I can get some of it. It's starting to dry. Come on. What is that noise? I think there's a bug in here. I'm hearing it back here. It scared me. It's gonna fly out at me. It scared me. Seriously. It sounds like a wasp.
It does. I'll look.
Okay, well, I don't know. Oh, God, I'm scared. It's up there. There's a bug.
Okay, just keep beating.
I know. It's scaring me. It's buzzing really loudly. Okay, I don't know if I can handle this. It's like right above my head. It's really freaking me out. Can you not hear it on the microphone?
It's a ladybug.
Oh, thank goodness. You know what? I brought that into the studio because I was going to record. I did. I found it. I brought him in the studio because I saw a video where you draw a line and the ladybug follows it. See if you can get it.
Okay, I'll try.
Here, use a brush. You can see if we can get it to go up on the brush. We'll do our ladybug experiment if we can get it down here.
It needs to be a smaller brush.
A little bit smaller brush here.
Okay.
We're experimenting with her. Sorry, guys. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, here, let's see if it works. Oh, he's all covered with dust, poor guy. Look at him. He's been in the studio for like 3 or 4 days. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, let's see if this works. Look at it's working. It's working. Oh, okay. Here, let's get him. Let's see if we can get him. It's awesome. I love it. Okay, we'll stop. Sorry. That was I love that we caught that on film. It works.
Okay, I'll put him outside now.
I'm sure everybody probably... Yeah, poor guy. He's all covered with dust. There's no telling what he's been getting into in here. 3 days in the studio with nothing to eat. Starving. All right. He flew off my finger as soon as I brought him in the studio, so I've been looking for him, but he's been hiding. That's hilarious. Sorry, guys. All right, so I'm making some brown with my Ultramarine Blue, or burnt umber, and I added some yellow oxide to it. And I'm just going to dab in my branch here. Mark, what's up with me? All this kind of weird stuff that I do. If I see it on Facebook, I want to try it. Okay. I'm sure I'm not the only one that's seen that on Facebook because it's been everywhere. I've been seeing a bunch of people sharing it on their feeds. So now we know it works. Okay, I have a feeling I was probably off there. Maybe not. You'll never know, Mark. Just pretend like I was on the whole time.
I didn't zoom out.
No, you didn't. I just noticed that. So hopefully I was on camera. Okay, I got the light ultramarine blue here. Or light... I don't know why I keep calling this light ultramarine. This is unbleached titanium. I thought that was pretty interesting. I don't know if anybody else cared, but... You didn't know you were going to get ladybug.
I know. Demonstrations.
Bonus ladybug.
Gosh, remember the first house we lived in here?
Oh.
They nested in between the windowsill and the wall.
That was gross, actually.
There were
Oh, it
hundreds.
was so gross.
Hundreds of them.
I never knew they did that. That was bad.
So somebody had noticed earlier, and I thought I'd bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
So this one here doesn't have any branches that are joining to any of the other paintings.
Nope, it's all on its own.
It was on purpose.
Right,
Okay.
I did that on purpose.
Right.
That's why I kind of did these ones in the one in the middle coming down because it could end on some of these. And, I always kind of try to do the outside ones. The ones on the bottom, have them coming from the bottom up so that they're not having to join across. The only two that are using the same are these two. And I really probably could have made this branch a little curvier because it's like a straight line there. It's not really that great, but oh well. Live and learn. Okay, so let's, well, I think I'm going to use this brush. Let's do our yellow flowers and we'll be just about done. I do want to put a little bit of highlight on his little legs here, so I'm going to use a little bit of white with my gray, my black there. Just put a little detail of, it's actually, you're probably only seeing the front there, because this is the back of the leg. But he's cute. I said it quiet so Mark didn't hear me. Did you hear me? You heard me, didn't you?
Of course I heard you. I got a microphone right in front of your face.
You listening? You were actually listening.
Yes. I like to whisper too.
Could add a little bit of white to my cadmium yellow here. And I'm just going to really kind of try to put these petals in one go. So I've got a little bit of the dark and a little bit of the lighter color, and I'm just going to kind of smush them down and lift. Some of them I'm going to kind of do sideways, but that's good. Some of them are not fully opened maybe, so we might just see kind of a weird shaped flower. We'll do one that's got a petal coming up over the top right here. And this Forsythia have 4 petals to their flowers, so you can keep that in mind when you're doing these. And they're kind of long and thin. No, don't want that so close to him. I'm going to take that out. Right there. I'll just do that one. If you catch it while it's wet, you can just wipe it right off. Okay, there we go. He's cute. Okay.
Oh yeah, they were talking about a mini. I'm going back and checking the chat while we were distracted by the attack beetle there. And they're saying a mini series you can do like ladybugs and.
I actually like that idea.
Like that.
Yeah, a ladybug would be fun to do. I've thought about doing a ladybug in a tutorial before, so that would be maybe that was a sign. Okay, I'm going to use a little bit of Quinacridone Magenta mixed with the yellow. And their centers are really not necessarily orange, but I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of this color in just to kind of give it a little bit of a darker color in there. Plus that orangey color will kind of tie into the other areas. And then I'm going to use white. Just the tiniest bit of yellow. Mostly white. And I'm going to go over some of these and add a little bit of highlight to them. I'm sorry, that was pretty cool. I didn't expect that to work. He was just waiting for his cameo. He's like hanging out in the studio until his shot. He was like, I'm not going to do it just for you. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to be on camera for it.
And do it for the world.
That's right. Okay, I'm getting some of the brighter cadmium now. I'm just going to kind of darken up the centers of some of these. Okay. And then I feel like there's some green there too, so let's grab some green and add that to the white and yellow. And just put some green the base of some of these flowers, around them, on the branch. I don't really love these over here, but too late.
Okay, I missed a question about canvas surfaces.
I'm going to do some white dot right in the middle here. Yep.
So I'm just going to read it as it's written. It says, is there a smoother surface to use, or do you want a rougher surface? And what do you prime with?
Oh, yeah, you could use a smoother canvas if you prefer it. I don't prime them with anything. Most of the canvases come pre-primed anymore, so I just use what's there. I mean, if it's a really rough surface, you might need to do a couple coats on your background, or do, I'm going to use some brighter green here and just brighten it up some spots on this background here. Oh yeah, and I thought about let me go ahead and mix some darker turquoise here. Thought about doing a leaf, so go ahead and zoom out a little bit there, hun. I'll show all of these guys together. We're just about done. There we go. So I thought about this branch is coming out this way, so I think I'm going to do one leaf here, maybe two. Just kind of poking from that, tie that all together. So all but this guy got, and we really could have put a little bit of branch up here or a leaf up here. I like the yellow there. I think it worked. It kind of pulled in the yellow from up there, and he looks good with the rest of them. So that's the hope, at least. There's enough kind of unifying colors here. I'm adding a lighter color to these leaves to give them a little detail. It's just the white added to that teal. What do you think? Is there anything else we need to do before we end? Really like them. I kind of feel like I wish that this bluebird was not the female. I feel like it's a little bit light compared to the other.
A little muted.
Birds. Yeah, a little bit muted. I'm gonna brighten it up a little bit with some phthalo blue here. All right, I'm going to call that good. That was fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I've seen lots of people painting them, so I'm glad that you to see that. Always makes me feel good when I see how good these have been, how well people are painting them. If you do it, you can share it with me on my links down in social media. Facebook's probably the best place to share them because we've got all kinds of groups and things. Our Thankful Art group. Lots of members. Then we do weekly art chats and all kinds of fun stuff. I think next week we're going to do a watch party and watch some stuff together, chat. And then Saturday we're going to be back for a landscape. We're going to do an ocean landscape with a doorway with some pink flowers over the door. It'll be really pretty, I think, kind of Mediterranean looking. And then next week we'll be back with another one of our small canvases, but it'll be a seashell this time. So, and like I said before, if you don't like these small canvases, you can always do them bigger. They don't have to be on these small canvases. You can scale them up to whatever size you want them to be. So don't feel like you have to use these small canvases.
We've seen some people use the bigger canvases and paint two of the birds on them.
Right.
They posted that in your group.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. We've seen people do them on long canvases where they've done, a couple of the birds on a long canvas. So there's all kinds of different ways to personalize these and make them your own. So, but yeah, be sure to share those with me and tag me in your thing so I can check them out on social media. And what else do I want to say? Oh, yeah, the Traceable is available on Patreon. So if you don't like draw, that'll be available on Patreon. They're $1 a month for all the Traceables. So all that you want to download for $1 unlimited.
Yep, from
Not $1 each.
February 2017, all the traceables.
Right.
They were $1.
$1. Yeah. Yeah. And then next weekend we'll be having our bonus video. That'll be this part 2 of the hydrangea. So
how do I get into that?
For the $5
$5 Patreon level.
Yep.
Nice.
So, and you get all the old bonus videos. You get to watch part 2 or part 1, and then part 2 will be finishing. Let me show you.
And the $1 million level gets in on that deal too.
I don't even know where it is, so I would show it, but I don't know where my painting is, so that's okay. All right, let's get off of here. Have a great day. Have a great rest of your week, guys, and we will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.